and welcome to Lisa and David's Retirement Adventure. We're covering today the Nicoya Peninsula.
And what we've seen.
It was marvelous. Our first stop off, we stopped in Conis, and Trish and Logan said, "You have to try this orange juice." And we went by there a million times, and it was the freshest, best orange juice with pulp in it. So we stopped and picked that up for a snack, then headed on our merry way.
And the thing about the orange juice is it's not sold in a store. A lady on a roadside cart that we see every time we come through Conis, she's always consistent. So we were able to stop in Conis and get some really good orange juice.
They have it in the cup, and she juices it, and then she seals it in a cup, and you take your straw, and it's got a sharp end, and you just pop it in. It's no additives, just orange juice. And then we headed to the Nicoya, to the fruit stand over at one of the main intersections over there.
These are all in route to our destination, which is over on the Nicoya Peninsula. It's like any kind of roadside stand that you would come across. Prices are much nicer, and the people were very nice, really good fresh fruits and vegetables.
And they had local honey, and what I thought was so, they had the bigger bottles and little bottles. And then if you want one for your pocket, it was about that big, and it had a little squeezy top, so you could, if you wanted like papaya and squeeze a little honey on it, you could pick those up right there and carry them with you. Then we got on the road again, and so many mango trees, miles and miles and miles of beautiful mango trees. We stopped at Jimmy's, which Trish and Logan have known for years. David and Logan had
these shrimp that were huge. This is in the small town of Carmel. Yeah. It's a small, sleepy little town, and there's a place called Jimmy's. And Logan on the way over, because he knows I like camarons or shrimp, and he says, "You won't believe the size of these things." I'm like, all right, maybe he's over exaggerating or something like that, but no kidding. These things were this big around and that long. Like they were like small chicken legs, and they were fresh and they were beautiful.
And Trish and I had beef fajitas, and beef is hard to come by and usually not very tender, but those were good fajitas. Yep, and we made it to Rio Dora. We had a lot of really nice time sitting out on the front porch talking over coffee. So that was just really great atmosphere. I couldn't believe it was the bird, and then it's like a strings hanging, and then the end of his tail. It's called turquoise browed motmot. It's found in Central America, Mexico to Costa Rica, and they're carnivores. They eat small reptiles, they eat bugs,
insects, spiders,
and maybe some fruit sometimes, but most of the time they're we will show you a picture of one, and it was absolutely beautiful. Very sitting right outside the kitchen window one day, and then we went on down towards Samara. That's when we were in Carrillo,
yeah, and kind of a tourist area, but not overly tourist, just outside of Samara. Yeah, and nice place. Obviously, much warmer than where we live, and we'd actually been there before, but didn't realize we had been there before.
Yeah, so we had lunch there at the Hula Jungle Playa Carrillo, right there. Beautiful beaches. Me and Logan had fish and chips. Trish had chicken, and David, of course, had.
I had sopa marisco con leche. It's seafood soup with cream, or a creamy base rather than water.
I think that one was coconut milk.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fun little place, just a unique
soup with cream
little place that had good music playing. The service was good. The food was good. And what was funny is David walked next door, and he come back and said, "Lisa, you're not going to believe what's next door."
Yeah, come out here. Come here. I want to show you something.
Come here. I want to show you. I thought, oh my gosh, what can be out here? Hotel Esperanza, where we stayed back in 2009.
Plug the dentist. Great guy.
Him and his lovely wife.
And they own and manage the
Hotel
Esperanza. And he was actually in the well house, or in the pump house for the pool, replacing a valve in the pump house. But so I went next door, seen him, talked to him for a while. He came over. We introduced him to Trish and Logan, and it was really nice to see him again. Just great people. And if you ever get into Carrillo, look up Dennis at the Hotel Esperanza, and it'll be worth your while. Great people.
Right. I'll put the link in the description, but they have a great pool. They do breakfast included in the price, and it's a great hotel right there, minutes from the beach. And Dennis is retired from Walt Disney World, where he did Disney. I might not get this right, Dennis, but it was Disney and Pixar and
Anime.
a lot of art. So he's such a fun person to sit and talk with when you have breakfast there.
Yeah.
So that was nice. We went to Samara, and of course, jam-packed with people. And what's so funny, as I was going through this video, looking at all the towns that we have been to and we're close to, I Google searched it, and it said, such a sleepy little town. No. I have never been there, and I've been there several times. I went there for my 60th birthday and did some whale watching and things like that, but we drove past Carrillo Beach to do the whale watching, and of course got to see whales while we were there that time before. But there's a hotel I stay in that's kind of on the other side, on the outskirts, and it's not so bad, but right there in the middle where there's a soccer field and the beach, they have horses you can ride, they have all kind of water sports. So there's a lot going on in that area, but it's very touristy, which most of the towns like that are because they've got so popular. But we like some of the more really sleepy towns that we'll get to later. But one thing, have you ever saw a car getting filled up? This is really jumping ship here. Have you ever saw a car filled up with natural gas? We were going out of the gas station, and there was like a hookup in one side, and it looked like it was in the tailpipe, and like a clamp that you charge a battery with for grounding in the other side.
A grounding on the tailpipe.
What? You know, the things you learn when you're traveling around Costa Rica. Then we headed back up to Trish and Logan's for the night. We made a day of it that day, and they have just beautiful mango trees, cashew trees. That did you find those?
No, that was Luis, and he brought back a cashew, but it had the fruit with it too. And everybody tried it. You know, they nibbled a little bit on it, and I ate the whole thing. Whatever they didn't eat, I ate the whole thing. But it was delicious, and the little piece of the cashew is attached to that fruit. And I don't know if I've ever seen that before or not, how a cashew is actually grown.
I have not.
But yeah, so the cashew fruit is very, very good.
But what I thought was so interesting, that what David ate was about that big, and it was red. It was very juicy, and Luis said put a little salt on it, and it's really good. It's like a cashew apple, but it's not really an apple. And then the cashew's on the top that I'll show you. But it's that the cashew is a member of the is it poison oak or poison ivy? Poison ivy family. So that's why you never get them with the shells on it, why they're always roasted. And then David got it on his finger, and he said, I don't know what this is. And he was itching. And it was from the cashew, from the oil from the cashew. It does like poison ivy. You know, so that was, you know, the things that you learn in your 60s. And Logan and Trish carried us to show us some of their teak farms, which is really amazing because acres and acres of just teak trees in a row. And when they're little, David got out and picked a leaf, and I swear, the leaf is like this big.
No more than 2 foot tall. And these huge leaves on them. And the taller they get, the smaller the leaves get.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yep. So that was so interesting because there's teak farms everywhere.
Sapling for a leaf from a sapling of a
teak tree.
A teak tree. Look how big it is. And these are all little ones. There's huge ones up on top there. But that's just, this one's only 2 foot tall.
Now you can talk about your beaches.
Playa Carrillo. We've been there before, and it's a beautiful beach. And unlike Samara, the majority of the people that are there are Ticos, indigenous
The
people,
local,
the local people. And they come down there on weekends and they put in their grills, their coolers, their everything.
But our favorite beaches, that was
One of our favorites.
That was our second favorite beach that we went to. Just lines and lines of palm trees, beautiful beach, and people that really love to spend time with their family. No phones, no computers, no nothing. They are spending family time all day on Sundays with their family.
Tranquilo.
Yeah, wonderful. So that's where we want to be. Just go with the flow, relax, enjoy yourself.
We didn't come here to change Costa Rica. We came here to enjoy Costa Rica.
We did. But we love the laid back atmosphere. And our favorite beach?
San Miguel.
I love it.
It is a very unseen beach.
There was the other family that came up because there's 2 or 3 picnic tables. So, the family came up because Bella kept running over to play with their dogs. So we took the dogs, Panda, Bella, and Duncan. We took the dogs with us and they enjoyed the beach. What was so funny, Bella's been to the beach but never run into the beach. So we went out to the beach and we got there and she just kept running in the beach till she got up with her head sticking out, and then a wave came, so she turned around and ran the other way.
Freaked out.
Yeah, but she thought it was fun because then she ran up and down the beach till I was so tired I picked her up and carried her back under the shade. But that's the place where we were out there, and stingrays just really up close, and we could see the stingrays going. And we took lunch. We had lunch on the beach.
Brought a cooler and some chairs and camped out for about 4 hours, 5 hours, and just enjoyed it. I went swimming. I walked out there, I would say, at least a quarter mile.
Oh, you were way out.
I was way out, and still did not get above chest deep in the water. And so I didn't get to the point where it dropped off, but I'm sure that's a point of undertow happening. So, and there's even a warning and a way to get away from the undertow posted on that beach so that you can, worth reading, so you know how to escape an undertow.
And so after lunch, me and Trish went back out there, and the dogs and Logan and David was hanging out up by the picnic tables. And looked and I said, "Is that more stingrays? What is that?" And we got out there and it was sea turtles. And Logan had a picture that he sent me, but those turtles were coming in on the beach. These had already got in the water and was almost at the end. So we saw 2 or 3 and their little flippers. They were probably about that big, not the big leather backs at all. But then we walked down a little bit farther and we kept running and running, because then there were 2 or 3 more and you could see them as they were going under the waves and going out into sea. And we probably saw, 12 or 15 sea turtles headed back into the ocean. And I guess they had been up on land in that mix of trees and laid eggs, and out they were going. So that was fun to see. I loved it.
It is part of a preserve, so it's very, very, very exciting.
I know, very exciting. And we are headed back Sunday to the Nicoya Peninsula because we loved it so much. And we're going to pick out a couple of days that we go pack our lunch and our cooler and our chairs, and we sit there on the beach again because it was that great. It's only been a couple of weeks and we're ready to go back to visit because we just thought it was marvelous.
Oh yeah, we're going to go to we'd like to go to Coyote, which is south of where we were at Playa San Miguel.
And the overlook, I've got a great picture of the overlook where I wouldn't get out because I was afraid I'd fall off. And what's the name of it?
Calderas.
It was beautiful.
And it's like an extension. The whole coast, all the way from well north to Samara, all the way down to Montezuma, is just packed with beautiful beaches.
They did say about that last beach where we saw the overlook They said there's a great reef in there. And if you're a surfer, that one's not for beginners. Samara is for beginner surfers, but that one is not, because you have to paddle out past the reef before you hit the high waves and come in. So you have to be an experienced surfer. Of course, I don't surf. I'm just reading what it tells me about it. So that's a wrap up on our visit to the Nicoya Peninsula. We were very impressed. We thank Trish and Logan for carrying us and introducing us to a part of the world that they have known and loved for 25 years. And his parents were actually here for years over in that area.
We stayed at Logan's parents' house where they lived for 25 years. And Logan's been a teak farmer for long. He was able to give us a lot of information about teak wood, how it's grown, the process of growing it.
It takes 20 years.
Right.
You like get it cut, sell it, and then he said
so he was able to give us a lot.
You leave the stump and then another one sprouts up. And so they just clean up around it and get it ready. And then 20 years later, you do it all again. So you have to really be a forward thinker to be a teak farmer.
Right. Absolutely. And one thing we missed out on here was in the process of Logan and Trish showing us around, we visited a friend of theirs. His name was Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne.
And nicest guy in the world, lives on 60 acres, has a roundhouse. There's beautiful views. Had a couple beers with them and stuff, and he was just so.
I had a Bloody Mary.
Two of them.
Two.
But we were passengers in the ride, so it wasn't like that. Yeah. Out to Dwayne. Thanks for your hospitality, brother. Appreciate that. And looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Yep. So that's a wrap, but we're headed back out Sunday. So who knows what we're going to find and look into, but it's really worth. It's the Blue Zone. It's the Blue Zone. We didn't even talk about the Blue Zone. So actually the Nicoya Peninsula and where Rio Ora and that area, and even Carmona, those are the Blue Zones. So you need to Google that. It's where the people live to be over 100. And
more centennials than anywhere in the world. There's, I think, 5 blue zones in the world, and this is one of them.
So there you go.
Do your research.
Yep.
The blue zones of the world.
Right, but subscribe. In the comments, leave us any questions that you have about the Nicoya Peninsula, because we would love to find out the answer for you. So let us know what you would like for us to go visit next week, and we're on it.
Put a Vita, and we're all here because we're not all there. Ciao.
So true. Ciao.